I've lived in Grozny since the age of 14. I remember when I was 10 or 11, my schoolmates and I decided to go to Grozny for some Soviet holiday. We'd heard a lot about the city, and so we saved up money and went. We knew there was a bus from our village to the Green Market, the city's central market, so we took that bus and went. Of course, it was an absolutely strange city for us, a city where people only spoke Russian, which we didn't understand at the time. Grozny used to be a fortress which was built by the Russian general Yermolov to keep the Chechens away. So my first impression of Grozny was as if I were discovering the city from the very beginning of its history. It seemed to us a huge city with a lot of people speaking a foreign language. At that time, you could hardly ever see Chechens speaking Chechen with one another. To tell you the truth, it was quite dangerous. We didn't speak Russian at the time. We'd only just started to learn Russian, so every time we spoke Chechen, for example, in public transport, we were given a talking to. They'd say, "Speak a real language." I didn't even understand the meaning of those words at the time. A city of strangers. That was my first impression of Grozny. At the age of 14, I came here to study. At first, I missed my home very much, and every week I went back home until I got used to city life. After finishing trade school, I'd been working as a supporting actor in the local theater for a year. I remember it as if it was yesterday. It was spring, blooming trees. The city was all green. During my student years, I started to get the feeling that when I was coming to Grozny, I was coming back home. No matter how you were approaching the city, on a plane or on a train, this was the place called home. I think this feeling has gone forever, because nowadays it's an absolutely different city. Although all the wartime debris is all gone, I still remember that city in ruins. Not the city before the war, which I loved with all my heart, but that one left lying in smoking rubble. After the first Chechen War, I used to walk around the city, though it was rather dangerous, watching the destroyed buildings and remembering the days of my youth. These buildings that were lying in ruins used to have their own names. The shops were named after those who'd worked there. When I see photographs of brand new houses, parks, and water parks on the internet these days, I think of those old houses that used to be there. Hundreds of thousands of people of different ethnic groups lived in those houses. It was a highly cosmopolitan city, which is not the case nowadays, and I think that situation will not change for a long time. This is a new page in our history.